Imagine a vast green expanse stretching over 6 million square kilometers, a rainforest so dense that, when flying above, it's almost impossible to see the ground. This is the Amazon rainforest, one of the most enigmatic and crucial regions for the planet's balance. Home to millions of people and occupying a large part of South America, it is one of the world's largest and most fascinating tropical forests, covering 9 countries, with a major part in Brazil. In addition to hosting millions of species of animals and plants, the Amazon is also a kind of natural laboratory. Scientists have discovered plants and microorganisms there that have been transformed into powerful medicines to combat diseases like malaria and even some types of cancer. And what's even more astonishing is that only a small portion of this biodiversity has been studied. Who knows how many other treatments and cures are still hidden within this immense ecosystem, waiting to be discovered. For a long time, the Amazon was seen as a wild environment, an unparalleled land of biodiversity where indigenous communities lived in harmony with nature. But in recent years, new technologies and archaeological discoveries have shown that the history of this forest is far more complex than we imagined. What else could the Amazon be hiding beneath its dense canopy? And how do these secrets challenge everything we think we know about the relationship between nature and civilization? Global interest and natural resources. The Amazon is much more than just a rainforest. It has become a key piece in the global geopolitical landscape, with growing interest from foreign powers that goes far beyond environmental conservation. This vast territory represents an indispensable source of resources for the future of the planet, attracting governments, large corporations, and international NGOs. For instance, the rainforest holds one of the largest freshwater reserves on Earth, containing about 20% of the planet's surface water. Additionally, the mineral wealth hidden beneath the Amazonian soil includes deposits of precious metals like gold and bauxite, as well as rare minerals essential for high-tech industries, including electronics and renewable energy. In recent years, the internationalization of the Amazon has become a contentious topic, especially when foreign leaders and organizations suggest international management for parts of the rainforest. For some countries, like France, the discourse around environmental protection can sometimes appear as a pretext for joint control proposals, which, in theory, would protect the Amazon biome against deforestation and illegal exploitation. However, these ideas raise concerns among Amazonian countries, which view them as potential interference in internal affairs and even as disguised attempts to exploit the forest's strategic resources. In 2019, during the G7 summit, the proposal to internationalize the Amazon caused tension, with France and other economic powers suggesting protective funds for the rainforest. To Brazil's government, this sounded like interference in its sovereignty. For countries like Brazil, which holds roughly 60% of the Amazon, these external initiatives are seen as threats to their right to decide how to manage and develop their own rainforest. The region also has enormous energy potential, with resources for hydropower and biomass generation, wealth that other countries see as strategic amidst the global energy crisis. Brazil, along with other Amazon basin nations such as Peru, Colombia, and Bolivia, maintains a stance of sovereignty, emphasizing that the rainforest should be managed and preserved by their own governments rather than by foreign interests. The answer to why so many mysteries and the interest of various countries surround the Amazon lies, surprisingly, in its difficulty of access. The forest is so dense that it resembles a natural labyrinth, making overland travel nearly impossible. With about 390 billion trees spread across the forest, its paths are covered by roots, shrubs, and such thick vegetation that even sunlight struggles to penetrate. Beyond the vegetation, rivers snake through the forest, creating the region's primary transport network, where boats replace cars and roads. This difficulty of access, however, has also helped preserve one of the planet's richest biodiversities. It's estimated that the Amazon alone holds hundreds of thousands of plant and animal species, many of which have never been catalogued. For instance, around 60% of the forest's tree species have yet to be classified by science. This means we're still far from knowing all the life hidden in this environment. This biodiversity isn't there by chance, it forms a complex and interdependent network that sustains the balance of the rainforest and, in a way, our own balance on the planet. The rainforest also holds immense medicinal potential. Scientific research has shown that many treatments used in hospitals worldwide today, such as anti-malarial drugs and certain painkillers, originate from native Amazonian species. For example, the U.S. National Institutes of Health have highlighted promising anti-tumor properties in alkaloids derived from Amazon flora. Another extensively studied plant is quinine, extracted from the cinchona tree and essential in treating malaria. With each new discovery, scientists strengthen the hope that treatments for serious diseases like cancer, Alzheimer's, and even antibiotic resistance may be hidden beneath the dense canopy of this rainforest. The Amazon is viewed almost as a biological treasure trove by the pharmaceutical industry, valuable, but challenging to access. The bioprospecting market, which involves exploring species to develop new medicines, is estimated to generate billions of dollars annually. Many companies see the rainforest as a potential source of unique compounds that could lead to the development of high-impact, commercially valuable drugs. This race for resources also raises dilemmas and mysteries. Since the 2000s, accusations of biopiracy have exposed cases where international companies have extracted knowledge and materials without proper recognition for local communities or Brazil. Amid such hidden wealth, the Amazon sparks interest and even envy, as its secrets, once uncovered, could transform modern medicine. The Amazon is also one of the world's largest freshwater reservoirs, a resource that is becoming increasingly strategic in the global context. The rainforest contains the Amazon basin, which spans approximately 7 million square kilometers and houses the largest river system on the planet. The Amazon River and its tributaries cross borders, supplying populations across several South American countries. Additionally, the Alto do Chão aquifer, located in the Brazilian Amazon, is considered one of the largest underground freshwater reservoirs in the world, with an estimated water volume of up to 86,000 cubic kilometers. To put it in perspective, this amount could supply the global population for decades. The importance of these water resources extends beyond South America. In a world facing a growing water crisis, the Amazon represents an essential source of drinking water, vital for consumption, agriculture, and the sustainability of entire ecosystems. This makes the international interest in preserving and exploiting the Amazon not limited to biodiversity, it's also about ensuring access to a strategic water source. This factor attracts the attention of foreign powers, NGOs, and major corporations, many of which advocate for sustainable use of the forest, though the strategic motivation for conservation may also include the control of critical water resources for the future. Bioprospecting refers to the exploration of plants, microorganisms, and other biological materials to develop pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, and industrial products. Pharmaceutical and biotech companies from developed countries are increasingly focused on the therapeutic potential of Amazonian species, many of which contain bioactive compounds with unique properties. The forest's diversity of plants, fungi, and bacteria is still largely untapped, but has already led to important medical advances, such as treatments for malaria and anti-tumor compounds. This race for resources raises ethical and legal challenges. One of the most debated issues is biopiracy, where foreign companies or institutions explore rainforest resources and knowledge without recognizing or compensating local communities and Amazonian countries. This issue brings up questions of sovereignty and fair distribution of benefits, as traditional and indigenous communities have deep knowledge of these species, which they have used in natural medicine for centuries. The lack of strict regulation in international agreements enables foreign companies to register patents, excluding Amazonian communities from any economic benefit. For a long time, the Amazon was seen as an untouched forest, a wild and unexplored jungle inhabited only by small, scattered indigenous tribes. This image of pristineness, a completely natural and human-free forest, has shaped scientific and popular understanding of the region for centuries. However, recent archaeological discoveries are breaking down this idea, revealing a far more complex history than previously imagined. New research indicates that, before the arrival of Europeans in the 16th century, the Amazon was home to advanced civilizations that actively modified the environment around them. These ancient societies developed sophisticated agricultural techniques, such as creating terra preta, a human-made fertile soil enriched with charcoal, which remains productive even today. Studies show that this black soil was essential for the survival of these populations, who developed a type of sustainable, high-yield agriculture. In addition, recent aerial mapping using advanced technologies like LiDAR has revealed large architectural structures, including cities, villages, geoglyphs, and networks of roads and canals connecting different areas of the forest. These constructions, found in some regions, indicate that the Amazon once housed populations far denser and more organized than previously believed. In some areas, these civilizations even built mud pyramids, dikes, and complex irrigation systems, demonstrating a high level of technical knowledge and planning. LiDAR, which stands for Light Detection and Ranging, is a remote sensing technology that uses laser pulses to map the Earth's surface with great precision. Here's how it works. A device emits thousands of laser pulses per second toward the ground from an aircraft or drone. These light pulses pass through the tree canopy and reflect back to the sensor after hitting various surfaces, such as soil, vegetation, and structures. By measuring the time it takes for each pulse to return, LiDAR calculates the distance between the sensor and these points on the ground, creating an extremely detailed 3D model of the scanned area. Until recently, studying the history of the Amazon was like trying to solve a puzzle blindfolded. However, LiDAR has revolutionized Amazonian archaeology by allowing researchers to lift the dense tree cover and see what lies beneath. With this technology, scientists can now map vast areas without needing to clear trails or cut down trees, revealing evidence of ancient civilizations with previously unimaginable precision. This technology has brought new insight into regions like the Llanos de Moxos, a floodplain area in northeastern Bolivia, once thought to be a remote, inaccessible landscape. During the rainy season, these plains turn into a massive swamp, but in the dry season, they reveal fertile land ideal for agriculture. With LiDAR, archaeologists discovered that the ancient inhabitants of the Llanos de Moxos had an impressive mastery of these extreme conditions. The technology revealed a vast system of canals, dikes, and even interconnected water reservoirs, indicating that these people had developed complex irrigation engineering essential for cultivation and survival in an environment marked by intense flooding and drought. These canals and reservoir systems, built hundreds of years ago, show not only advanced technical skills but also a detailed ecological knowledge of the region. The careful planning allowed them to control water during droughts and protect against flooding, critical measures for sustaining a larger population than previously thought possible in that era. In other parts of the Amazon, such as the Aponte Valley in Ecuador, LiDAR has also unveiled enormous geometric figures carved into the ground, known as geoglyphs. Far from being merely decorative symbols, these geoglyphs were part of a network of paths connecting ceremonial areas and meeting points. These archaeological traces suggest that ancient peoples organized large gatherings, likely for ritual or commercial purposes, in regions that were carefully planned and interconnected. Archaeological and ecological studies indicate that today's Amazon landscape is not as ancient and unchanging as once thought. In fact, the Amazon rainforest expanded over areas that, centuries ago, were occupied and managed by indigenous civilizations. Before the arrival of Europeans, vast areas of the Amazon were cleared and used for agriculture and habitation. These civilizations did not merely occupy the land, they actively transformed it, creating fertile soils like the famous terra preta, black soil, and managing plant and animal species to make the environment more hospitable for human life. With the arrival of European colonizers, this dynamic changed drastically. In addition to direct conflicts, the Europeans brought diseases like smallpox and measles, to which indigenous peoples had no immunity. In a short time, epidemics decimated entire populations, dramatically reducing the number of inhabitants across the region. With the collapse of these civilizations, vast areas of cultivated land were abandoned, allowing the forest, free from human interference, to reclaim and cover these spaces, expanding over former fields and human settlements. This natural regeneration process led to the Amazonian landscape we see today, which, in part, is a result of the sudden interruption of centuries of human management. Much of the dense vegetation we consider wild today is, in many cases, recent growth over the remnants of advanced societies and areas once prepared for cultivation. With the advancement of technologies like LiDAR and new biological analysis methods, the Amazon has begun revealing secrets that challenge everything we thought we knew about the forest. As you may have noticed, these studies show that we are far from fully understanding the impact of pre-Columbian civilizations in the region, which built complex networks of roads, canals, and settlements, transforming the landscape to meet the needs of large populations. These discoveries are rewriting the history of the Amazon and dismantling the idea that the rainforest has always been an untouched environment. Beyond its historical aspects, the Amazon's medicinal potential is one of its most promising areas. The forest's biodiversity remains largely unknown. It's estimated that a vast number of plant and microbial species with potential therapeutic properties remain unexplored. Medical science has already achieved significant advances from compounds found in the region, such as anti-malarial drugs, anti-inflammatory agents, and even anti-cancer compounds. With the development of new sequencing and bioengineering technologies, the forest is a potential source of treatments for complex diseases that still lack solutions. However, these discoveries also bring responsibilities and challenges. Preserving the forest while conducting ethical and sustainable scientific exploration will be essential so that the knowledge and resources of the Amazon can benefit humanity without causing irreversible damage to the ecosystem and local communities. The Amazon remains one of the planet's last scientific frontiers, and with the right tools, its study could lead to important breakthroughs in the coming decades.